So today we're going to talk about exactly what made me become more profitable. I've been a full-time day trader now for about almost a year, and I've learned a lot of lessons in that time. So today we're literally going to discuss exactly what I learned, exactly what will help you to become more profitable, to skip out all the nonsense, to skip out unnecessary informations, the things that you don't exactly need to learn, because these are the key things that helped me. Now, the last one was the most important for me. This was the one that made the biggest change, so be sure to continue watching. Now, the first thing was to set and forget. Now, what do I mean by this? To simply set your entry, set your stop loss, enter the trade, and just completely leave it. Because what tends to happen is that you enter a trade and you do not make smarter decisions when you're in the trade. Just watching the trade sometimes, whether you're a scalper or day trader, whatever the case is, if you just stay there and continue to look at it, you generally, most of the time, will make worse decisions. You're going to either leave early or you're going to cut the trade at some point that you don't need to. You just begin to not follow your rules. So what I started to do is simply just have my setup in a way where it helps me to just set and forget, because I'm a scalper on the 5-minute chart. So that means that most of the time my trades do work out in a few minutes. But what I've now started to do is, as soon as I have everything set, I just leave. I don't need to now monitor it. If I take the L, I take the L. If I take the win, I take the win. And then I knew that whatever setup I'm taking, this meant that this is going to be like an A+ setup. Most of the time I win, so I have nothing to really be worried about. Just enter the trade, set it, and just forget it, and come back and just see if you win. I'm going to assume that most people that are watching this video are not completely new to trading. Now, the reason I say this is because you should understand this. As a trader and as humans, we tend to just not follow our rules. So one important thing that you need to do that will make you more profitable is literally trading like a bot. When you trade like a bot, what you simply do is that you start using numbers, you start using ones and zeros, basically, in the sense that you see your trading setup, you take it. You see your stop loss, it is already set, and you're out of the trade. You see your take profit and you take it. Now, what this is going to do to you is that you will be less greedy, and I promise you, because the moment that I start to just set my take profit, usually what I do is I let it just go, and eventually I take it out when I'm roughly on my TP, right? But what can happen is, say there's a lot of volume on that last candle, you kind of hold on to it, try to make as much money as possible. But what tends to happen is that you will become greedy, because you tend to hold and hold and hold. And as a scalper, it takes 1 second like this for a candle to literally be pumping up to just yeet down. And now you're kind of at break even, and you're not bothered to close because you're thinking, what's the point? And then you turn a winning trade that is literally 1 pip away, or you already won, to now a losing trade. And that is the most painful loss ever, when you had a winning trade and now you're losing money for no reason. So trust me, try this. If you want to be more profitable, just trade like a bot. When you see things, just do it. When you don't see things, don't do it. Just kind of set your mind, add no emotions. Now, something that's hard to do, so that is why number 3 is going to help you a lot to start to trade like a bot. And what is number 3 now? This is going to be backtesting a lot. Backtesting is so essential. The moment I started to do this, the amount of confidence that gave me on my setups was immense. And one key thing that I do is not just backtest, 24/7 pretty much, is that I try to backtest either the day before I'm trading or literally the moment before I start trading. If I'm jumping on the market in like the next hour, I could try to backtest just for like 10-15 minutes, just, before that. Because what this does is, now you've seen your setups, a few more times, you know exactly what you're looking for. You learn maybe 1 or 2 lessons at that time. You just remind yourself, oh, cool, this is what I need to see. If I don't see this, I'm not entering the trade. Because what sometimes happens is that you tend to either become overconfident because you've been winning in the past, or because you've been losing, now you're scared. But backtesting will give you that confidence again. Because when you backtest, say you're winning, let's say 70% of the time or 80% of the time. So now you know that, cool, I got this, this is something I can do. Because one thing you also hate, and I know this, is when you see your setup, but you were scared to take it. And now the setup wins, and then you see the next one, and you quickly rush into it, and now you lose just because, do you see what I mean? You're kind of messing around with yourself. So that's why, trust me, if you want to be more profitable, just backtest a lot. Backtest and backtest and backtest. Go back to the charts, test out your setups, see exactly what works, see exactly what doesn't work, and have these things noted down. You realize how you just become a lot more disciplined, because now you know exactly what you're looking for. There's no ifs and buts and maybes. You're trading literally like a robot. Okay, so the next thing you should do is simply have a steady income. Having a steady income is so essential. Look, when I started, I didn't have a steady income. What I mean by it is having one income source that is guaranteed. This could just be a normal job, right? But I was already self-employed, so in that case, every money that's coming in is from either, you know, the bit coming from trading or other things that I'm doing. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't guaranteed. So sometimes you're not making money, right? So this added a lot of pressure. When you lose money, you feel it a lot more. So I highly recommend you get a job. Have one job that is at least bringing in income so you can deal with expenses, house bills, whatever you have to take care of. And once you're able to do this, you realize how you're a bit more peaceful, because when you lose, you accept losses a lot better. Accepting losses is a key way to see who's actually a good trader. If you can accept a loss peacefully and comfortably, you know that you're risking less, you know, you're pretty much ticking all the boxes. So once you begin to do this, you now want to actually start to teach somebody. Now, what I mean by this is don't exactly become, you know, a guru immediately, right? What you want to do is have someone who's accountable with you. The moment I started to at least teach one person that I knew, what then happened is I became more self-aware of the trades I'm taking. I took less trades. Obviously, I was more aware of, cool, is this an A+ setup? Because what now needs to happen is that I don't want that person to lose money. So the fact that now you have to teach somebody, this now means that this helps you. The biggest lesson from this, or the biggest reason for doing this, is just that it helps you to become more disciplined. You will just tend to now break your rules less. All you need to do is have a few people accountable with you, and obviously you can only do this once you're somewhat good. Though this isn't like a complete beginner thing that's going to help you, because you don't want to teach somebody absolute rubbish, right? This is when you already have a working strategy, but you're at that stage basically where you're break even. You're not making money, you're not losing money too much, you're just kind of break even, right? So this is the point where this would help you to get to that next level of being profitable, because you will take less trades, you'll be more self-aware of the things you do. So trust me, if you want to actually become more profitable, apply this and actually let me know if it does work. Now, this next one caused the biggest change for me, and this was simply risking less money. Whether it's your money or prop firm money, sometimes it's not even worth risking 1%. If you know yourself and you know that risking 1% is just big enough, or let's say you spend a lot of money on the account, or you have a big account in general, risking less money gives you so much more confidence. Initially, I got into this habit of trying to pass, you know, the challenges quickly, trying to just rush the entire process. But what this ended up doing is that I was just blowing account after account after account, you know, sometimes risking even 3%, because I just want to get in the trade, win, and just call it a day, right? At one point, I even passed a phase in literally like 10 minutes. But what ends up happening is you're learning bad habits. So in general, when you risk less money, what just tends to happen is that you know that if this trade is to lose, you're only going to lose about, you know, whatever amount it is, right? 0.5%. And this just makes you feel like, cool, I can enter this trade with confidence. It will stop you from being more scared. It'll help you to actually just be like fearless and just enter trades, so you miss less trades as long as you're following your rules. Now, one thing is that most people are going to go for the prop from you to obviously get capital. So what this is going to do for you is that you will simply be in that prop firm challenge for a lot longer. If you're in drawdown, you give yourself more of an opportunity to actually come back up. For example, let's say you're risking 1% and that drawdown is 10%. It means that if you lose 10 trades, you're done. But obviously, when you're risking 0.5% now, you now know that that's 20 trades. It's already doubled. So in some cases, if you have a huge account, you know, 100K account, for example, that's expensive. That's not cheap. So for most people, you want to get that because you want the big boy money, but you also want to give yourself the best opportunity to pass, because sometimes you have bad weeks. You can lose for a whole week straight, right? If you lose for a whole week straight now and you're risking 1 to 2%, that account is going to go super quick, because now there's also times when you do revenge trade and you're probably going to risk, you know, 2%, 3% in a day. So of course, if you're risking less, trust me on this, just try it. You will go further. You would have more confidence. You'll be more steady. You give yourself more of an opportunity to pass. And if you're going to fail, it will take longer for you to fail. So you save more money anyway.